Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think we all knew it was coming. Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Phillies Stove Media, and today, Commissioner Rob Manfred, announced some very sad news for diehard baseball fans and, just casual baseball fans. It's a baseball fan. You are sad today, right? Of course, he announced the cancellation of the first two series of the 2022 regular season. And guys, before you get into this video, please subscribe if you haven't yet. Please do engage the bell. Please like this video, comment on this video, share this video, and let's get into this. So very sad news, right? Let's not forget, ladies and gentlemen, this is an owner-imposed lockout. Let me just repeat, an owner-imposed lockout. This is just sad, right? This is very sad for our game. What is happening? Of course, they missed a deadline. They work from 10 a.m. to 2:30 in the morning yesterday. Goes into 2:30 this morning. I went to bed last night, waking up and thinking I was going to see on my phone there's a new collective bargaining agreement. We can have spring training resume on March 8th, and there will be baseball, regular season baseball, starting on March 31st. In Houston, Texas for the Philadelphia Phillies. Things that did not look good, I'm going to say maybe around, 2 o'clock, right? We had like 3 hours to go at that point, and they pretty much called it a day like an hour before the 5 o'clock deadline. This is just crazy. And Rob Manfred laughing in our faces. Let's not forget Commissioner Manfred laughing in our faces. Let's never forget this moment. Rob Manfred laughing in our faces. After telling us that he's going to cancel regular season games, he laughed at us, ladies and gentlemen. He's laughing at diehard baseball fans. This is just pathetic. He thinks it's funny. Rob Manfred thinks it's this funny. I do not think this is funny, to say the least, right? This is pathetic. Did you see Tony Clark laughing at his press conference? Yo, you did not. No, you did not. And I thought it was a very good press conference, but all I will say is that I thought it was very, very foolish to have Max Scherzer up there, a guy that's getting paid $43 million a year, and you're having up here saying, well, we want all these changes, this and that. And believe me, I'm with the players much more than I'm with the owners. I'm so frustrated at both sides. Some of the players' ideas are a little radical too, and there's no question about that. But I'm definitely more on the players' side than I am the owner's side. You got a guy up there getting paid $43 million a year, and he's saying we want this and that. Come on, man. Come on. Let's get a guy up there, a guy like Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Juan Soto. Let's get a guy up there that really hasn't hit his payday much yet. This is just ridiculous. To have a guy up there who's getting paid $43 million a year, but I really agree with what Tony Clark said, right? And you heard Andrew Miller, we're willing to wait this out. As we said, we are willing to wait this out. We are prepared to have this lockout drag on. And Tony Clark made a great point, and it's very obvious. And I think it's very important that we talk about this. This is an owner-imposed lockout. They decided to do this. Rob Manfred decided to lock out the players. Rob Manfred decided to cancel regular season games. Rob Manfred decided to wait until pretty much the last week to start really negotiating, when the players were eager to negotiate. You heard Tony Clark. When do you ever hear really any owners say that we are eager to negotiate? It's typically all the Players Association that's eager to negotiate. Come on. It's clear as day, ladies and gentlemen, who wants to play baseball and who does not want to play baseball. So now we're going to have another compromise season as we did in 2020. I do not think that it will be like the 60-game season, if you want to call it a season. That was a joke, a flat-out joke, and I do not think we're going to have a 60-game season. This is just pathetic, man. I wouldn't be totally surprised if, the opening days on, early May. But either way, I'm recapping games starting April 5th. Whether it's a spring training game, whether it's, a Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs game, right? Either way, you're going to be seeing daily game recaps on this channel at the very latest of April 5th. As of right now, our first game of the season would be April 8th against the Oakland Athletics at home. No Houston Astros, for 3, no Washington Nationals for 2. So those games are off the board. We're currently at 157 games for the season. And as I said, you go take a look at Tony Clark's remarks. Listen what he said. He said, if they lifted the lockout right now, we could play and we could continue to negotiate a fair deal. Look at that. Why in the world would they not want to do that? Why in the world would the owners not want to do that? That is just ludicrous. Clear as day, it's the owners to blame for this. Of course, I'm not saying, as I said countless times, I am not saying that the players, deserve, none of the blame here. I'm not saying that at all. I still think that they're very radical. For example, having Max Scherzer up there, a guy who's saying, oh, we need this and that. A guy that's getting paid $43 million a year. And that's just... It's just silly. This is very, very silly. But trust me, I mean, they are much more in the right than the owners are. Much, much more. And we need to push out these cheap owners. So, teams like the Pirates, the Tampa Bay Rays, the Oakland Athletics, all these teams, Cleveland Guardians. I mean, we need to get rid of these cheap owners who do not want to spend any money. I do not blame owners like Steve Cohen. I do not blame owners like Hal Steinbrenner. I do not blame the owners of the big market squads, because I do not think they're in favor of what's been going on, all this disarray that's been on the owner's side of negotiations. I do not think they are a fan of this at all. I just couldn't believe Rob Manfred today. I just couldn't believe that. He is the worst commissioner in sports. He is the worst commissioner in sports, in all respect to him, to Commissioner Manfred. I mean, he has been a disaster. He has just been an absolute disaster, and I think it's important we don't put all the blame just on one person. It's not all Commissioner Manfred's fault. I mean, we're very upset with Commissioner Manfred, but we have to understand that it's not all his fault, right? I mean, it's easy to point the finger and say, it's all your fault, it's all your fault, it's all your fault, and trust me, and I'm guilty of that myself, but we have to stop ourselves and say, listen, it's not all his fault. It's also the cheap owners. But he's the front of it, though, ladies and gentlemen. He was the guy. That stood in front of us today, laughed in our faces, and canceled regular season games. Now, reportedly, someone on the Players Association side, I did listen to that pretty much the entire press conference. They're trying to get a thing done where they could reschedule some of the games. So there's maybe a slim chance that we do see, almost 162 games this season. Problem is, I just don't know. I really would be surprised if it's just 2 series being canceled. I mean, I don't know anymore, ladies and gentlemen. I've been saying it for a while. I don't know. I honestly never even thought it would go into February for a while. I remember when I first started, I said it'll be over by the end of January. I never even thought that this would happen. And I remember somebody warned me about this last offseason. They said, I think you should be more worried about baseball in 2022 than baseball in 2021. I'm starting to think the guy's right, and there's definitely going to be a season, but that doesn't make me feel really any better, ladies and gentlemen. That does not really make me feel any better. If you would have told me that in 2020, well, look at the season we had in 2020. I mean, 60-game season, it was a joke. 14 teams in the playoffs. I mean, that was the biggest joke if there was one. We do not want to have to go through that again, and I don't think we will. And even if we unfortunately have to go through that, I mean, there's nothing we can do about it, ladies and gentlemen. We have no control over this. I made a post about this. We don't have any control over it. It's so frustrating. It's so annoying. I can't stand it. I miss baseball. I'm a die-hard baseball fan. This is really, really annoying to go through, ladies and gentlemen. But we have other, positive things going on in our life. But this is definitely, it's just very, very disappointing. Very, very disappointing to see all this go on in our great sport. This is a great game. And they are, trying to destroy it. They certainly aren't, helping it, that's for sure. I don't know that they're purposely trying to destroy the game, but they certainly aren't helping. And I give the players credit for going down there and not, blinking to the owners and, as Jack Fritz said, I mean, giving in and, kind of caving and conceding. I give them credit. For not doing that. But one thing that I think that needs to be addressed here, and it was addressed, in the negotiations, was the expanded playoffs. So they do agree to 12-team expanded playoff, which I'm a fan of. I mean, go take a look at the 2021 Seattle Mariners, 2021 Toronto Blue Jays. 90+ win teams that were snubbed from the playoffs. So I understand it does kind of water down the game a little bit. There's too many teams in the playoffs, but I think 12 is okay. 14 is way too much. It's almost half of the teams making the playoffs. And that is just ridiculous. It's unfortunate this season, some season games have been canceled, but one good thing you take out of this, and I really want to emphasize this, is the fact that they have made tremendous progress. Of course, they still got some way to go, of course. Especially with the CBT, they made a lot of progress with that. The minimum salary, of course, the union wanted $725. The owners were, at $675 for a while, and then they met them halfway and gave them $700K. So they met him halfway on that. And honestly, this is where I got to side with the owners. The biggest increase in the minimum salary in Major League Baseball history. I mean, come on. I think that is more than fair. The biggest problem, the bonus pool. The bonus pool. This is the biggest issue. This is by far the biggest issue. Major League Baseball currently sits at $30 million. While the Players Association sits at $85 million. So they are really far apart on this. I mean, not as far apart as they were before, but the MLB kept emphasizing best and final offer, which scares me a little bit. I mean, are they going to stall? Are they going to stall for a while? How long are they going to stall? I mean, if they stall at all. But my Manfred certainly did express, maybe some desire to, get together again on Thursday at the earliest. Right, back in New York. They're going to go back up to New York as they were meeting in Jupiter, Florida. But one thing, I'm going to go back to it again. I mean, everybody's, freaking out because, 2 series of the, 2022 regular season were canceled. And believe me, I'm frustrated. I love what I do here, and I've only had one season where I've gone from game 1 to 162. One season, and that was last year. And this is another compromised season. It's believe me, it's very, very, frustrating. But it is what it is because we can't control it. But the amount of progress they made in this, 10 days of negotiating, unbelievable. Unbelievable progress. Even both sides even said that. I mean, the amount of progress they made, they're much, much closer to a deal than they were when they started, and that's very, very promising. That is very, very promising. I just couldn't believe how late they stayed up last night, and if you notice, every report, from the top guys like Nightingale, Rosenthal, John Heyman, John Marucci, Evan, whatever his name is from The Athletic, every report is negative against the players. I mean, the MLB, pretty much has a lot of control over what the writers, say or do. The propaganda coming out against the players, it made them look like the bad guy. It's just so ridiculous. The players are the bad guys because they're doing this, and they didn't reject our fair offer. And look what they're doing. And that's not the case here, ladies and gentlemen. It is the owner's fault, mostly. Of course, as I said, minimum salary, definitely with the owners on that. That is more than fair. $700,000, definitely fair. I remember when Pete Rose signed with the Phillies for $810,000. People, the water industry was like, oh my gosh, can you believe that? $810,000. That was back in 1979, a long, long time ago. And that is how much the game has changed. The players seem motivated. I think that's very, very important to bring up. The players want a deal. The players want a deal. It doesn't seem like the owners want a deal. They just want to continue to play this game for as long as they can. So as I announced, I will be covering our Iron Pick season starting on April 5th. Of course, if there's spring training games, then I will not. Because I'll be recapping them. Let's say they're still, where they are right now, which I think is unlikely by that point. That's what I'm going to be doing. But I still, think that spring training is going to be going on around that time. I think we will see an agreement within the next couple weeks. They're much, much closer to an agreement than they were before. But it doesn't really make me feel a whole lot better. The 2022 season has officially been compromised, but it does give me a little hope. I mean, you heard that representative for the Players Association say we're going to try to fight to reschedule some of these games and make up at least some of the games, which gives me hope. So I just don't want this short anything less than 140 would just feel just eh. You know what I'm saying? And of course, it's better than nothing, but 60 games, that would just be a joke. Something is better than nothing, but hopefully it's around, 140, 150. And keep in mind, regular season games typically cannot be an odd number, for obvious reasons. So usually it's going to have to be an even number of games. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. The 2022 regular season has officially been compromised. We've already started to see, the first week of regular season games canceled by Commissioner Rob Manfred. Canceled by Commissioner Rob Manfred. Not by anybody else. Rob Manfred and the owners canceling the first week of the regular season, first 2 series. Something we maybe saw coming. Over the past couple weeks, we all knew this was a possibility. I had no idea. We can go back and watch a video I made on December 2nd about the lockout starting. Did I even sound a little worried in my voice? No, I did not. I just can't believe it. Little did I know that this would happen. But it is what it is. We got to prepare for all eventualities. Weekly update on Saturday. I was hoping it was going to be the last weekly update. They got my hopes up. I thought it was over. today. I was in good spirits. I'm still, in a pretty good mood. There's nothing we can do about it. So guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Please subscribe if you haven't yet. Please turn on the notification bell. Please like this video, comment on this video, share this video, check out the social media. Link description section. Phillies hats to media, Instagram, Twitter, Instagram. Card text 267-225-3292. Email phillieshatmedia@gmail.com. So I will see you all on Saturday for the weekly update. Definitely disappointing, no, to say the least. It's a tough time to be a baseball fan right now. I'm Luke, and I'll talk to you later. I'll see you guys.